Okay, so what are we doing? Oh my, I can zip around with the keyboard, huh? Yeah, I'd rather use my scroll wheel. So I have upgrades available. Okay, one point is like, just say I don't have any upgrades available instead. Enter the green way. Plant the seed, let it grow. Oh, it's growing. Don't you worry, it do be growing, and so is mine. I mean, that's like the only thing left. I got tons of scrap. There's another day while Peak compiles the evidence, or everyone is completely united here. Like, I don't know what exactly you want from me anymore. This is just like a break day for me. I can just do whatever. Okay. I guess I'll go work in the bay, which is also my bay. Although I don't earn a lot of money. You think if it was my bay, I would earn more. But whatever. 20 cryo per dice and some random scrap items once in a while. Those are worth 16 or 12 or something if I sell them. And I can always use them to repair. So there is that. Neutral outcome. Neutral outcome is fine. Then we'll just... Does Caster have anything for me? No. Go over to the repaired unit. I don't know. Feed the cat. And end the cycle. There we go. It's all done. Day dawns. Cat. Work on our own body. Oh, here we go. Peak, hello. Sleeper, Peak is waiting for you in the corridor. It is time. Peak looks pale and disheveled, with heavy marks under their eyes and strands of hair sticking to their face. For what? Peak smiles weakly. Nice try, but we can't dodge this. Peak holds up a thumbnail-sized drive. All the data I have compiled on the flux event, the effects of the wave, and the structures that hide within it is on here. You look at the tiny drive, a casket of dark secrets. I have annotated it to the best of my ability. Anyone should be able to understand the threat, the potential in this. Peak size. It makes for grim reading. Without intervention, the eye will suffer a catastrophic collapse of systems, just like the colonies of Ember's moon. Intervention? Peak grimaces. That I'm still working on. Yeah, what do we do to fix it? Peak looks at the drive. This shadow in the flux, this protocol, is so hard to pin down. It adapts to any countermeasure I have tried to deploy. It is like trying to hold water in a cage. It slips straight through. There has to be a way. He closes their hand around the drive. We need help, Sleeper. This is about everyone on the station. They sigh. We have to set up a meeting to tell someone who can do something about all this. Helene. Perhaps, Peak pauses. If anyone can protect the eye, it's Havanch, but their internal politics will make it hard for them to act. Will they even listen to us? Or perhaps, Peak adds thoughtfully, we've been thinking about this all wrong. Peak's eyes glint. Why make a choice when we can tell both of them? Why pick a side when the only side in this entire thing is one we all need to take? Peak speaks as they think, their words barely keeping pace with their thoughts. Yeah, get a meeting, invite both groups and talk to them. We have to resist this together or we will fail. We need everyone on board, Sleeper. Peak smiles. That is the only way. We send the data to both. Both? Both. Peak gives you a firm look. I won't play politics here. They look away. Another flux event is coming. I'm sure of it. I'm not sure we can survive without help. Peak opens their hand and holds the drive out for you to take. You need to do this, Sleeper. I can't. You know Saul, you know Helene. They trust you. To them, I'm just another spacer, but you are a part of this place. Hearing someone else say it hits you hard. Hits you hard. You are a part of the eye. Peak is right, but right now that feels more like a weakness than a strength. I have set up a data relay at the cordon. It's neutral ground. Take the data and send it out to Hervange and the flotilla. Once they receive it, they will come. We can be sure of that. You will need to meet them there and take them through it all. No one could do a better job. They tuck a strand of hair behind their ear. Come with me. Peak pauses. I can't. It would only draw suspicion on you. Hervange wants nothing to do with us and Soul is paranoid at best. Peak tentatively puts a hand on your shoulder. Thank you, Sleeper. I know this is hard, but we have to move forward. We can't keep this to ourselves anymore. They step back, looking thin and pale in the harsh station light. Come talk to me once it's done. And they slip away into the eye. Alright, so I guess we have the data. Flux data. Flickering shifting fragments need to be a bit carefully decoded. What are you talking about? I mean, I guess I am well known. I've done a lot of work around the eye. I'm also insanely rich. Well, maybe not insanely, but you know. I make ends meet. One more day. Oh no, that's for my garden. Bunch of days for this. And here we have the cordon. Nothing to do on these ships. Okay. Hello, cordon. Warning, final episode. Okay. Once you send the data, episode purge and the final series of events on the eye will begin. At this point, you will not be able to return to complete the other drives or find other endings. Okay, well then screw you, lady. I'm gonna wait. Because I still have one thing to do. I still have this thing. Alright, bye, I suppose. I'll just like eat up and work my days. Because if you say I cannot return, well then I have one ending to get to before I do this. Let's do some component repair jobs. Hey man, money is important. No matter what people say. We always need money and we always need scrap. So, might as well do what we can. Go home. The cat. Cycle. Tomorrow our damn garden will be grown, so that's good. We can go over there, harvest it. Maybe even get some emergency medicine, some more of it. For now I only have one. So let me get something straight. The bulb heads or whatever, they were already growing before. Right? They stopped growing because they realized that these guys don't need it. So who the hell needed it before? You know what I'm saying? Ooh, club head. Club-like bodies I discover. More club-like bodies? Nope. Club-like bodies I discover. Where? Tire? Ooh, fungus yield. Pick out the best developed caps. Club-like bodies you discover. I love it. Alright, synthesize some stabilizer. Rico chats to you about recent events while she prepares the stabilizer. You always enjoy these visits. Alright. Now we gotta go collect freaking spores, bro. We have one, we need two more. Plant our garden. No negative, please. Neutral. That's it. That's very good. It's fine. And there you go. We'll start to germinate these spores again. And we'll go and sell these Matsuke caps. There you go. Precise work, but it is done. Another 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Bro, you crazy. Anyway, we'll go to the import-export place. Sell some Matsuke caps. 80 bucks is 80 bucks, man. Now these ships are back, so I guess I'll chill. I can go back to my little thing, but I got a home here. I built it. My own damn hands. So that is where I shall rest for now. Get through the days. Alright, 1 second before I move on. We'll do this. We'll self-repair ourselves. Get over to Memphis. Eat some stuff. There you go. Got some insane rolls, but like, once again I ask to what end. It's like, Don't have much to really do. My garden is grown. We still need 3 days. You know what? Let's explore. Let's gather some scrap out here at the edge. It's dangerous, but well, maybe I'll find something. No? Okay, well, I'm not putting that in there. You crazy. You know what? Let's sunbathe. I never sunbathed. I want to see what sunbathing does. Sunbathe. Plus energy, plus energy. Your frame's photosynthetic skin allows you to gather in energy through sunlight. The longer you stay, the better. Oh, then stay. You take a few moments in the sun to boost your energy, but get restless quickly. Well, whatever. I got my 1 energy I needed. Spend the day gathering scrap and sunbathing. Fine. Okay, here you go, cat. Here you go, my own body. I never found anything, by the way. Good roll again, but like... To what end, sir? To what end? Another 2 days, another 2 days. There's nothing to do. Keyboard to move faster. Guess we'll go and work up top. Good work. 20 cryo ain't nothing to sneeze at. One of these pays more than pays for my food for a day, so... Plus I can do a lot more than one. I can live a good life. Energy there. Just fine. That means I can head over to this guy and buy some food and enjoy it to the fullest. There you go, perfectly stable. Aha! Scrap dealers are back. Let's buy scrap. That's a ship mine freaking fragment. Okay. You got another one of those? They sure do. Then one just normal scrap. Alright, well. Did somebody say they need money? Because there's 3 ship mine fragments. Turning into a dang ship mine. Mr. Paz is gonna be very happy. Here's 150. 984. Holy shit. I am so close to 1,000. Because I'm sure there is an achievement. Come on. 1,000 damn credits? That's a lot. Right? That's a lot of money. Especially because I gotta feed the damn cat too. Again, I don't have to feed the cat, it's just, you know. It's easy to get into the habit. Feed the cat. How much money do I get? 20? No, 15. 15 is not, it's not worth it, man. I ain't gonna work for 15. I can get 20. Ooh, 1 day for both of these, eh? Alright, tomorrow's a big day then. Ferry me across. Take me up, let's get to 1,000. Should be quite an easy thing to do. There you go. Come on, achievement time. Look at that. Will someone come to rob me or something? Wouldn't that be interesting? Because I have like an insane amount of money. 1070. The graphic card I wish I had bought instead of the 1060. But I got a freaking 3080 Ti now, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, I mean, we'll just sleep. Got money for days. And this is the big cycle. This is the tree that the gardener gave me will grow up now. The AI gardener thing. No one cares about all my money that I got. What the hell, man? Some people would be impressed. Hey, I'm pissed. Look at all my money. Don't care? Nobody cares. Nobody cares about money these days. What's up, Rico? Rico has something in her hands when you enter the lab. It looks like a knotted twist of woody stems, a ring about the circumference of a human head, consisting of a single stalk at one side and a branched, woven network at the other. Is this what grew? As you approach, she holds it up, and in the lights of the lab, it looks like a crown. Rico finishes your thoughts. She smiles and shakes her head in disbelief. Is that what grew? It is. I came to the plant this morning, and this loop was all that was there. She points to a lump on the edge of the ring. The seed grew right back into itself, twisted up out of the soil. What the hell? That being you encountered in the cloud, as you call it, was it wearing one of these? She eyes you suspiciously, still unsure if she is somehow embroiled in an overlong prank. No. She sighs. I suppose that would be too easy. She smiles to herself. A root crown. She places the object on the bench and shuffles to her analysis terminal, her face lit by its amber light in the dim corner of the lab. Well, it isn't exactly a plant anyway, not from what I can tell. It gives you a serious look. No leaves, no chloroplasts, just a series of filaments encased in cellulose walls. How did it grow? It seems the seed contained everything it needed, a self-contained entity, nothing less. She beckons you over. But that isn't the good part. Look at this. You see a cross-section scan of the crown, its layers of plant-like structures on full view, until you reach the center. There, instead of xylem and phloem for transporting nutrients, something branched and woven glints. Now those wires, she laughs. I'm not sure whether to say yes or no here. These are not wires like those in an electrical system, no, but they are filaments of conductive materials. So yes, she leans closer to the screen. But you see those branches? They remind me of dendrites, of neurons. She rubs her eyes, which is frankly ridiculous. So it's like a nervous system. You look back at the crown on the table as Rico fusses over the scans, and you suddenly realize what it reminds you of. You remember the singing forms, the walk to the sleeper tanks, signing the forms, the walk to the sleeper tanks, the cold metal floor. Then you remember the crown they fitted you with, not the branching structure of wires and pads. No, not a crown. They called it an interface. He's given me a damn interface? The tool of your emulation, your transference from neurons to electrons. An interface. That is your gift from Gardner. You turn back to Rico. It is an interface. Rico looks at you puzzled. Something clicks in her mind. Perhaps something she heard from the sleeper she had helped all those cycles ago. She starts talking, partly to you, partly to herself. If the club heads were made for you, then this too could be made for you, for your frame. She shuffles over quickly to the interface, a word that has struck to this strange branched object quickly in your mind. You are right, that entity. It is the entity I have been looking for. He shuffles quickly to the crown. They are the entity which is controlling the Greenway, which has been maintaining it, supporting it, and has been guiding it for all these decades. She stops to catch her breath. They want to talk with you. Ooh. Riku leads you to a seat. I will be here, sleeper, if something happens. If you wish me to remove the crown, the interface, just squeeze. She grips your hand tightly. You meet her eyes, clouded with age, but bright with the thrill of new discoveries. Then she places the interface on your head and everything blinks out. Boom. Yep, the cloud. Back into the river, back into the dark flow, but something is different now. You are no longer pushed, no longer blocked and buffeted by by the storm. Instead, it flows around you. You move and it parts, letting you pass. Something else resists, but it gives easily enough. You look back and see your body. You have left it behind. Somewhere Rico's voice is talking to you, asking you questions. It is excited, eager, desperate to know what lies on the other side, what the entity has to say to you. You realize how long she has waited for this moment, for the moment of meeting between the inhabitants of the Greenway and its protector, and yet she is still on the outside. You shake off the sadness. You will be her eyes. Then you see the figure, Gardner, out in the storm, planting. Yeah, ingrown farm administrator. It takes less than a moment to reach them. You have never felt so free. This is how Navigator must have felt. Released from their prison. This, you think, is what it feels like to be in the place you were built to inhabit. Gardner does not turn at your approach. They go on planting, but their voice whispers in the waters like a sharply rising current. You grew the gift, their speech hisses around you. Good. I am glad. I wanted to meet you. Then we are the same, both eager shoots seeking one another. How does it feel to be free of your seed? They stoop to plant again. Good. That is good. They press a seed into the gloomy depths. There was some disagreement, continues Gardner, as if you were picking up on a long-held conversation with the others. They felt you were a danger, but they are always cautious, especially the fungi. They like old known knowns, wide and stable networks. The fungi were cautious? Mostly yes, although there are many among their number who favor short growing cycles, thick nutrient veins, and sudden shifts. He gestures out into the storm, and though you cannot see them, you feel presences all around, sensing this audience with great interest. Huh. So the fungi are actually sentient? What the hell? They felt you were a danger, but they're always cautious, especially the fungi. But there are some who grow short, sudden shifts. Huh. Some are more flexible, you mean to say. After all, they understood that it was I who made them their crowns, and without them, they would not have joined the chorus. So they see that it is only fair that you get your chance to join too. Join? Yes, become part of this. Gardner stoops again. We are millions and we grow. I hope you understand. I am unused to speaking to your kind. It has been many cycles since my last conversation. I think it was with Chief Executive Trellick himself. Who the hell is Trellick? You look around and you see it. Every growing thing, every non-human being in the Greenway is here. They are networked, connected, branched and linked by this strange being, this artifact of the old station. The impossible dream of a senile farm administration AI, a living network. You could dissolve here, you realize, free of that decaying body. You wouldn't need to be a person. Why would you, among all these other minds? You turn away from the gardener for a moment and look back at your body. A tiny hairline thread connects it to you. You hear Rico's voice again, still asking, still checking in. Are you okay, Sleeper? What are they saying, Sleeper? Are you still there, Sleeper? Something in you sighs a long sigh, a sigh that speaks of an exhaustion beyond tiredness, an exhaustion rooted deep inside you. It stems from the effort of answering questions, of answering problems, of getting up and breathing each cycle. But something else resists the sigh, a yearning, a sense of distance, a desire to squeeze the hand that holds you for its warmth, its blood, its complexity, to make a gesture that says, I'm still here, I'm still alive, I'm with you. The two ideas spin with you, making you nauseous, so I can get an ending here. If you break that thread, you will be free, free to dissolve here, to grow strange and beautiful among a million others. If you follow it, if you squeeze Rico's hand, you will wake up back in that dying body with all the pain and warmth that entails. Now is the moment to choose. I'll break the thread first, then I'll follow it. You reach down and pinch the thread. The fragility of this moment descends on you. The finality of this moment descends on you. Break it. You pluck the thread like a string. It snaps. Nothing changes. You stand at a point of stillness. No, you don't stand. You have no legs, no body. You are a point of stillness, a point in the flow. Your mind fizzes. A thousand new shoots break through the soil. They entwine with you, embrace you. Some part of you decays while something else feeds from that decay. The spores of your new thoughts float away in shifting clouds and settle in the new soil. Then you see Gardner out there, still planting, and they stop, like an old man resting in the fields, and they turn to face you. And you join the chorus, and together you sing the song of growing things. That's an ending. No achievement for that? I joined the freaking Singularity. Nobody cares about that? Not impressive enough for you? But this is the last. Oh, there you go. There it is. Accepted the offer, broke the thread, and joined the chorus. Grow vast and strange. I am indeed growing vast and growing strange. But yeah, we'll say no. And this is the last one to do, right? This is the final other mission. I can move on with my DLC stuff, which is also moving on to the final DLC chapter, which is threatening the entire eye, so it makes sense it would be a final thing. But we'll see. The credits are not that long. We can just go through. Treasure Hunters, whether some kind of event they had before the release of the game or something. I would have tried to be part of that, but unfortunately, I did not know anything about this game. Thankfully, I saw it and I realized it was not the freaking the Cyberpunk City driving game. What the hell is that? Cloudpunk? Yeah. I realized these were two different games. I mean, they have different names, but you know, the mind is weird, so I thought they were the same. But this is a fun one. We will continue on. Don't worry, it's not over. We've got a couple more endings to go through. Well, one more, not a real ending. One more non-ending. Alright, we'll jump back in. Where exactly am I? Okay, I just left the house, I'm guessing. I've already bought stuff from here. I mean, I'll go to Memphis. There you go. I think I just have to speak to her, right? That's all. Yep. Boom, boom. A crown, really? You can see it as well as I. Rico looks past the twist of stems at you, and that is what it appears to be. She points to a lump on the edge of the ring. The seed grew right back into it. That being you encountered, it doesn't work like that. She sighs. Perhaps wearing was the wrong word. He places the object on the bench and shuffles to the analysis terminal. Serious looks. Series of filaments encased in cellulose walls. Filaments. See, that's why I like you, Sleeper. You're so good at spotting the unusual details. She beckons you over. Look at this. You see a cross section. Metal. In part, it seems to contain metal, perhaps absorbed from the station itself. She leans closer to the screen. See those branches by dendrites. Yeah, it's an interface. Talk with you back in the river. When we see him. Oh. My seed, that which the content on which you will grow. There was disagreement. I don't understand. Neither did they, but time is on our side, and time is an excellent method of persuasion. He gestures out into the storm, and through, though you cannot see them, you feel presences. You made more crowns, I made them all. Gardner moves away a little, looking for another planting spot. It was so lonely here, but before long I found them and began to let them in. We are millions. Could dissolve here, still checking in. Are you okay, Sleeper? What are they saying? I'm tired, but I want to do it. I will follow the thread. Your eyes track the thread across the whirling dark back to your body. This choice, you realize, will not be presented again. Follow it. You don't look back at Gardner. You don't risk it. Instead, you follow the thread delicately, carefully, like a diver following their lifeline back to the surface. The river whirls around you, but it doesn't pull. It isn't jealous. Neither does it understand. It is, after all, just a river. It isn't a person, a flesh and blood person with wants, with desires, with a capacity for love and hate. It doesn't understand you, and you don't understand it. So you don't focus on it. You don't think about it on what feels like such a long journey back through the dark. You set your mind on eyes instead, on hands, things you can focus on, hold on to. And then after an age of crossing, you are there, settling back into the chair, into a body in a chair, and the overwhelming sensations that come with being a living thing with a rich and detailed sensorium. For a moment, you feel like you have made a terrible mistake. Who would choose this weight, this anxiety, this deep well at the center of existence? But then you feel it. Rico's hand gripped hard around yours, trembling a little, sweating a little. Rico's hand with its brittle bones and crumpled skin. Rico's hand. And in that moment, you understand why you made this choice. And then you squeeze Rico's hand and you wake up. Warmth and light turned away, follow the thread back home. Or is it really just gonna go through the entire credits again? That's fine, we'll see. These people worked hard for it. How many are left though? Let's say I alt tab. What happens then? Does it just continue going? It does. Okay, so I can take this moment to check. Okay, Game Pass. Hello. There you go. View details from the developer. So there's a second part as well, which I will definitely play when it comes out. I don't know when it does, but so yeah, grow vast and strange, grow your own, fix stars. What are left? There's 3 achievements remaining. Steal 3 shipments just to see what's inside. Okay, well I can do that. Minecraft. And there's 2 secret achievements left, which I'm guessing are the 2 final endings. Could I steal 3 loot boxes? That's an achievement that's remaining to be done. I mean, they'll stop me from working there again, or they'll make me pay a fine. I mean, I have shit tons of money, so it's not really gonna be a problem either way. I can deal with what comes with it. Maybe it's another quest or something, because they don't ask me to steal the freaking food, just from the crates. It's crates, right? What they said. Steal 3 shipments just to see what is inside. Shipments. Can I be let back into my game? Thank you. Go. Upgrade point. Sleeper. Rico's voice comes wavering through the dark. Are you still with me? You sit up. The lab, a bright green glare that fades as you gather yourself. I'm here. Rico smiles. Good. She squeezes your hand. I thought you'd left me for a moment. What? She pauses. Who? She smiles. Tell me about it. Tell me everything. I'll tell her the truth. You tell Rico everything. You tell her about the gardener, that strange farm administrator AI that has grown to be so much more. About the chorus, that impossible configuration of networked plants. And finally, about the choice that gardener offered you. She listens attentively, but her responses are hard to read, and you wonder if she might have made a different decision had she been in your place. Thank you, Sleeper, for telling me. I know it isn't easy to say such things. People so often do not wish to hear strange truths. He looks away. And thank you for returning to me. Though I know you had your own reasons, she squeezes your hand reassuringly. Something passes between you then, a kind of shared sadness for the impossible choice, the choice to escape your body or to stay and suffer it. Her smile is warm and generous, and whatever the wisdom of your choice, you are glad to feel welcome in this moment, in this place. Then suddenly she stands and walks a little away, as if trying to escape an unpleasant thought. You worry that she knows all too well what it takes to make a choice like you did. Rico sighs. So, Sleeper, do you plan to stay in the commune with us? I plan to. I'm glad to hear it. Rico crosses back over to you and takes one of your hands in both of hers. Hypa needs new blood if it wants to survive, and she squeezes. You are a good friend. Feeling is mutual. Well, don't let me keep you. Rico waves you away and limps back to her terminal. As she does, you notice the crown in her hand, and she places it on the bench with great care. You can't help but feel a little curious about what she intends to do with it. She'll probably study it or something. Then you are out, breathing the air of the greenway, fresh as a spring morning. The dappled light makes a patchwork of the greening landscape, and you walk into it, sensing the movements of the gardener's chorus all around. And you are glad to be here in this strange and beautiful place a little longer. Alright, and we got a point. A point. Wait, what? I thought I already had a point. Should I have 2 points? No active drives. You met the gardener, a Solheim farming AI grown strange and vast. You refused her offer, it will haunt you until your final day. I mean, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna steal a couple of shipments, see what happens. Hello, midline freight hub. Random items, condition, midline. Stealing shipments on midline is going to be picked up fast even if you are careful. The systems can't be fooled for long. With so many shipments, what's one diverted package? You would have no idea what you are stealing, but that's part of the fun, right? Hell yeah, brother, let's rob something. Random items, midline security. Cryo. What did I get? Scrap? That ain't worth it, man. Just a bunch of scrap. You spot an opening and divert a package. Midline will know it's gone, but have no idea where. Now to find out what's inside. Spot an opening and divert. We got more random items. They got loot boxes. Stole 3 shipments just to see what was inside. Just a bunch of scrap, bro. There's nothing in there. Now I can't. Oh, it's the whole thing is gone. I'm not welcome there anymore, I guess. Which, you know, fair. I would say that's pretty fair. Even if they don't know it was me, they can think that, or they can suspect that it was me. That would be right. Okay, I'm not putting a 3 in there though. Hyper dorm, but it's still my dorm. I'm still staying there. Hyper commune. I can always work there for energy if I'm interested. And she will still always allow me to stabilize stuff. Right, we'll go tomorrow. Get the last 2 endings, the last 2 achievements also probably. That remain. What do I do with the 3? Make some money with it. There you go, a little repair job, filter cleaning job, sure. I ain't picky, I'll do it. Whatever works. Pays. End the cycle. And now it's time to continue the DLC with no other distractions, because we're done with everything else. We have every single other achievement. We're all good. And we have loaded up on scrap and money, so we are insanely ready. And we are full on energy, full on health. We have two stabilizers just sitting there. We're ready to go. Our dice, I mean, they could be better, but so could they always be. It's fine. Manage. I always do. Alright. Peaky's relay is readily tried. Ticking time bomb, no going back. Peaky's relay ping the confirmation. The data is sent. Now all you can do is wait for the response. You will not be able to return to complete other drives or find other endings. Make sure you are ready. With the data sent, the only thing to do is wait. As you do, you imagine Helene receiving the data, perhaps in the middle of some Harvanch council meeting. You think of her trembling hands as she slips out of the room to read it. Her reaction you can't predict. You imagine Soul too, one of his crew finding him in some corner of the Pilgrim Seed, overseeing the modifications that will turn it into an ark. Those sharp eyes scanning the data, looking for a way to proceed. The wait draws out, and to pass the time, you watch the activity beyond the edges of the eye. The scrap shuttles pulling components from the now abandoned cordon, and the supply skiffs making runs between the flotilla ships. It isn't long before you hear the chirping of one of Helene's now familiar drones approaching the viewing platform, and then Helene herself strides into the room. Where did you get this, sleeper? Helene holds up a slate scrolling with streams of flux data as she enters. I need to know your source. Hello to you too. You didn't bring me here for a reunion, I assume. Helene smiles a thin smile. Then you'll forgive me for skipping the pleasantries. She pauses and pushes her hair back out of her face. This is a lot to take in. A shadow protocol inside the flux, the system's Khan channel starting up, a total collapse of the eye. She rubs her forehead. If I bring this to the council, she turns away. They'll believe you. She laughs. Do you know what has been happening within her van, sleeper? She looked away out at the flotilla. Since the refugee ships started arriving, things have changed. It's chaos. No one can settle on a single issue. There is division at every vote, but in the division only one group prospers, the hardliners. Because as each councillor gets tired of the arguments, gets tired of compromise, they become more attached to the easy answers. The flotilla is to blame. The refugees are opportunists. The eye must be defended. She shakes her head. And now you are telling me they brought something to the eye that will cause its collapse. They didn't bring it. It doesn't matter, sleeper. That is all the councillors will hear. She closes her eyes, a hand to her temple. Many of them already presume that the refugees are somehow to blame. Did someone say refugees? Saul clanks into the docking bay, grinning at the situation. Speak of the devil and well, here I am. His suit hisses as he settles on his cane. Helene glances between the two of you, uncertain if she has been drawn into some elaborate plan. Soul holds out a hand to her. Soul, he nods. I believe we have spoken remotely while the cordon was still up. I sent both of you the data. Soul laughs. Well, thank you. He raises an eyebrow. Evidence of our mutual inevitable destruction is not much of an olive branch, but I'll take it. I am not her Vanch, Helene blurts out, then corrects herself. What I mean to say is no one person represents her Vanch. That's the idea. I did not support the cordon and I did not support your quarantine. Soul nods. Well then, Soul glances at you. Anyone mind if I get myself up to speed here? He pauses, but you get the feeling he isn't expecting an answer. 1. The flux events. The very same destabilizing waves that collapsed the colonies on the moons of Ember have reached the station. He holds up a stubby finger. That's 1. 2. According to data Sleeper provided, these events are acting as a cover for some kind of intrusive protocol which is causing the real damage. A second finger joins the first. 3. The Shadow Protocol will do the very same thing it did to Ember's Song, Step and Hearth, and quickly. In short, it will shut down everything keeping this place alive. A third finger pops up. 4. And this is my favorite. We have no idea who or what is doing this and why. So his final finger joins the other 3. Is that about the total of it all? There's also another flux event coming. That's true. Of course there is, Soul smiles thinly. Sounds, Helene pauses, searching for words, intimidating. Helene turns to Soul. Did you manage to put up any kind of resistance on Ember's Earth? Soul shakes his head. That's why we are here. The Pilgrim Seed was the biggest ship to make it out unscathed. He pauses. I suppose we didn't have this data. We didn't know what was eating up the systems. We all thought it was the flux. Helene looks at you, and I imagine you, Sleeper, and whoever helped you uncover this might be able to figure out a countermeasure. We can try. Helene nods approval. Okay, so that's the start of it. If you'll forgive me, Soul cuts in. Part of why I was able to save as many as I could on Ember's hearth was that I gave up hope early. Soul shifts his weight, his suit hissing. There were endless strategy meets, system reboots, tests and trials, but I just got on with working on the Pilgrim Seed, with getting people on board. So when the second and the what the hell was I doing? When the second and the third and the rest of the Flux events hit, we were ready to go. So I can offer you some advice, Miss Not Havanj. It is to give up on that line of thought you have, that hope, and to start the evacuation now. Right this cycle. Soul looks out of the observation deck towards the Pilgrim Seed. I've already started the process of converting the remaining volume of the Pilgrim Seed for human habitation. With Havanj's resources, I dare say we could finish the job with time to spare. Soul scratches at his beard. I know it's hard and I know it is sudden, but you have to give up hope. We have to run. There will be no heroes here, just those that keep living and those that don't. Helene listens in silence, making calculations. She looks out at the bulk of the Pilgrim Seed, which, despite all its vastness, is dwarfed by the eye as a whole. Something flickers in her eyes. She opens her mouth to speak. She stops, frozen. Let me think. Helene rubs the temple. I need a moment. Helene paces, and as you watch her, you realize how young she is and how lost she is in the systems and protocols she has to navigate. You can almost see the strings and ties that bind her, glinting like webs in the wide space of the observation platform. We can purge the shadow protocol or we can evacuate the eye. I mean, I can try to purge the protocol. I want to protect the eye, but can I just say nothing? Let them think? We can purge it. Helene stops pacing. But with what resources? The data you sent me. This thing is a shadow, uncontrollable, untraceable. Perhaps with the full contingent of the Havan Systems Department, but that would require hundreds of work orders to be overlooked. Maintenance schedules abandoned. She looks away. Getting that through the council, would that even be possible? She glances at Soul, who is patiently watching, patiently listening. We have to try. Helene looks at the slate again. I will take this to the council. Force them to listen. Force them to act. You both jump as someone loudly clears their throat nearby. Your eyes jump to the dark entryway that Helene emerged from just minutes ago. Kemp. Oh, he's a hardliner. Great. Hardline Havan's counselor. What a cozy little meeting this is. A man steps from the shadows, dressed in the same style of Havan's overalls as Helene. And I must say, that is some very incendiary rhetoric you are using, Counselor Helene. You glance at Helene and her face drops immediately. Kemp, he curses under her breath. Soul shifts his weight on his cane, but otherwise remains still, like a casual observer. Plotting against her vance with an interloper, he gestures at Soul. Everyone will be so disappointed. Kemp smiles a bright smile. Some of the counselors had such high hopes for our youngest member. His smile drops. I, of course, never let novelty distract me from the importance of experience. Helene stares daggers at Kemp. Enough of this petty shit, Kemp. You need to see this. She holds out her slate with an outstretched arm. The games are over. No more point scoring, no more lobbying. You and your hardliners need to stop. This is something real. Kemp calmly takes the slate and prods the screen, scrolling through the flux data. His face betrays nothing, but you can see some complex calculations flickering in his sharp eyes. Kemp lowers the slate slowly and smiles at Helene. And what do you think this shows? Helene frowns. Don't play games. You can read. The flux is a carrier signal for some shadow protocol, most likely corporate in nature. Maybe it's Solheim re-emerging to claim their station. Maybe it's a takeover. But either way, that station is under threat. You are right about that, but the rest? Conjecture. Kemp rubs their chin. What we have is a virus in our systems, which emerged precisely when the flotilla arrived. In fact, it times in perfectly with the mysterious event that freed them. Oh, great. So what I see is a hostile cyber warfare attack, instigated by dissidents that fled Ember's moons after committing terrorist attacks on their own soil. Kemp's face darkens. That is the order of the facts, nothing more and nothing less. Facts I'll be happy to present to the council. Kemp tightens his grip on the slate. Helene laughs. You think that's the only copy of that data, you sanctimonious shit? No, I don't, Kemp smiles. But who do you think they will listen to, Helene? Especially after I tell everyone about this little clandestine meeting. You couldn't win power by Harvange's systems by our laws, so you resort to this. Kemp shakes his head. The law is with me. It is as simple as that. He gestures, and out of the shadows, two Harvan security officers appear. Great, so he bought support. Now, no need for that. Soul suddenly speaks up. His silence had meant Kemp had stopped paying attention to him, but now you notice he has backup of his own. A group of his crew stand at the edges of the room. They are carrying long, boxy guns. We've never seen anything like them on the eye. Glossy XPR logos glint along their barrels. These are Eshe's guns, so he is the one who stole the guns. Kemp freezes and the officers hesitate, holding back in the doorway. Be careful there, outsider, he stutters. Kill me and Havansh will never forget. Sol waves a hand at him. No one is killing anyone, so let's calm down. Sol scratches his beard, but I am going to have to ask you to leave. Erlin glances at him and he gives her a gentle nod. And you leave your colleague here with me. He raises an eyebrow. We haven't finished our conversation. Kemp laughs and shakes his head. You are finished, Erlin. The council will never allow you back after this. Then he turns and walks out of the observation deck, taking his officers with him. You all pause to catch your breath. Helene looks ready to collapse. Sol flexes inside his suit, nodding at his crew to check that Kemp has fully retreated. Sol wrenches part of his suit back into place, grimacing. Your friends leave a lot to be desired. He shoots a glance at Helene. Seems like support for the evacuation might be a hard ask. Helene doesn't respond. She stares out at the pilgrim seed once more, trying to process what's in front of her. She sighs and turns back to you both. I won't call for an evacuation. She looks at Sol. Maybe that is a fatal mistake, but I can't do it. I understand. But she pauses. I won't block it either. If people want to leave, Harvansh will let them. That is what I will propose to the council. He sighs. If they let me speak. You have to try. She nods at you and Sol and turns to leave. Sol is quiet. He scratches at his beard. Good luck, he offers to the departing Helene, but she does not respond. He leans on his cane. I'll be honest with you, Sleeper. None of this changes anything for me. The pilgrim seed will be going in a handful of cycles whether Harvansh wants it or not. How long? Sol grimaces. Honestly, as soon as we are ready. I'm not eager to run down the clock to the last cycle. Sol puts a hand on his shoulder. There's a berth for you, and for any you can gather, Sleeper. That much I owe you. And Helene? I won't hold out much hope of her coming around, Sleeper. She's too tied up in all this. It won't let her leave even if she wants to. He eyes you. Hell, I'd say the same about you, but you have a habit of proving me wrong. My crew will take me from here. Don't you worry. Sol straightens up. Oh, and thank you, Sleeper, for sending the data. I appreciate the extra info and I'll see if it can help us store up the pilgrim seed against any further flux events. If we had you back on Ember's hearth, he pauses, suddenly losing his appetite for discussing the past. We could have saved his planet? Maybe. Troll sighs. Of course, we are going to need all the help we can get, so if you can spare some time, come to the pilgrim seed. Help me get it ready. Bring others. There's a future to be earned here, cycle by cycle. We will be leaving as soon as we are able. If you want to help us get there faster, well, you'll be welcome. He meets your eye. Soul grimaces. Well, he pauses. Just don't keep me waiting. And he limps off towards his waiting crew. You pause for a moment to let your thoughts catch up. Peak will want to hear about all this. That they should be your first port of call. You drive. Evacuate the eye. The flotilla is leaving with anyone who wishes to join them. But they'll need help if they want to leave before the flux hits. This is, we can supply hauling and berth refitting. Pilgrim prep. Building berths into the vast bulkheads of the pilgrim seed is a huge job, and Soul needs every able-bodied engineer to help. Supply hauling. The evacuees will need many supplies for the trip to the starboard belt, and they have to be hauled aboard in only a few cycles. Pilgrim prep. The pilgrim seed will take the majority of the evacuees off the eye, but is there enough time to settle them all? I don't know. We talk to her as well. Talk to Peak. And is there anything else to do around here? There should be, right? Maybe try and hack into it or something? No? Yatagan. I haven't dealt with Yatagan in like forever. Bunch. Nothing to hack. Not that I can see anyway. Go up. We've already robbed this place, so they won't let me back in. Gimbal lounge. There's nothing, I just have to rebuild everything. Just have to get to work on this. Talk to her first, obviously, for countermeasures, but you know what, sure, let's do it quickly. As you enter the climbing briar, you immediately have to jump aside as Esh, lugging a massive crate across the cargo bay, pushes past you, grunting an apology as she does. Reminds me of when we met. Ish sniffs and doesn't look back. As you turn back to the bay, Peak pushes past you. Sorry, Sleeper, just a second. He rushes to catch up with Ash. Put that down, please, Ash, but he doesn't respond to their urging. We can't leave, not yet. Peak puts a hand on her shoulder. Please, I'm the only one here who can fix this? Probably. But she wants to leave. The crate drops, the sound of its impact echoing around the bay like thunder. Can do what, Peak? Her eyes are burning with anger. Save this place? Are you still that naive? I mean, we can try, right? We are running, Peak. We are running because this thing cannot be stopped. It couldn't be stopped at XPR, our home. Why would we stay to stop it here? Because we can, Eshe. We can give these people a chance. Peak pleads with her. Like they gave the refugees a chance, Ish shakes her head. No, Peak. This is not on us. We barely made it out of XPR. I worked for years to escape and now you want to throw it all away? I left everything behind. My mother, my friends, to take you out of that place. She clenches her jaw. She turns and slams her hand onto the crate, breathing hard. We go. That's the end of it. Peak turns away. You feel unsure what to do, but you know now this is not the time for outside arguments. This is between them. Peak crosses the bay back towards you. I'm sorry you had to see that, sleeper. They sigh. Let's talk upstairs. Peak leads you to the entry ladder, taking you up out of the bay and into the habitation level of the ship. You follow them through the tight corridors, noticing the handwritten notes, the clutters, the repairs, the signs of a home. Here, sit. Peak gestures to the broad mess table with its curved couches and you slide in on one side. Peak sits opposite. They brush their hair out of their eye and take a deep breath. So, how did it go? What did they say? I've been waiting all cycle. Tell them about Helene. Peak listens nervously as you explain how Helene said he will support your efforts to find a countermeasure for the Shadow Protocol. Okay, Peak looks pleased. That sounds good, much better than I was hoping. But what about the council? Are they behind her or will she operate alone? Tell them about Kemp. Peak looks increasingly troubled as you tell them about the hardline counselor Kemp's sudden appearance. Damn, that Helene's going to have problems of her own to deal with. Peak shakes their head. It looks like we won't be able to count on anything from her branch. They pause. What stopped Kemp from arresting her? About the guns. Peak rolls their eyes. Of course. Those are the guns Ash managed to smuggle through to the refugees. The one she didn't tell us about. Peak sighs. Another thing that's on us. What's on us? Ash is standing quietly in the doorway listening. You don't know how long she has been there for. Peak looks up at her with tired eyes. Sleeper found the weapons you smuggled from XPR. Ash freezes. She glances between you and Peak as if this might be some elaborate joke. The flotilla used them. Ash moves out of the doorway and enters the room. What happened? Peak interrupts. Be thankful that they didn't. They used them as a threat, that's all. Good. Eshe folds her arms. You get the feeling that she knows Peak will not approve. Peak goes to speak and then decides not to take the bait. They glance at you. I'm sure you've heard enough of us arguing this cycle, Sleeper. Peak shoots a look at Ash, but our introduction of these weapons into the equation are just another reason why we simply cannot run away. Ish looks away but says nothing. She surely knows they cannot absolve themselves of responsibility here. So what is motivating her? You realize that she still might be trying to protect Peak, even from themselves. Suddenly a shrill beeping fills the room, and Peak pulls out their slate to silence it. But as they do, they freeze, their finger hovering above the screen, the beeping continuing its incessant pulse. What? Is another flux event coming? Peak doesn't seem to hear you. They blink with glazed eyes at the slate. Then they let out a long exhale and tap the screen. The beeping shuts off, leaving a ringing silence behind. Ash frowns at Peak, planning to explain. 12 cycles. Peak looks vacantly up at you both. 12 cycles until the next flux event. They shake their head. I have been using the arrays on the Briar to look towards the center of the system, to approximately where the Khan channel should be. Just this moment they detected a signal from the inner system. Given the distance and pattern of previous flux events, we have 12 cycles before it reaches the eye. The silence in the room is deafening. 12 cycles, that's it, before a second wave hits this place. Peak interrupts your thoughts. We start now. That's the end of it. Peak stands up to face Ash. You want to take the Briar and run Ashe? That's on you, but I won't do it. They take a deep breath. I'll be here, Sleeper. For every cycle it takes, trying to find a solution. I'll need your help. Their eyes meet yours and you see a wild desperation flickering there. We will find something. The sooner we have a plan, the better. If it takes us 12 cycles to fix this thing, it'll be too late. Peak's eyes flash with determination. They reach for a slate and pass it to you, so we can keep in touch. You pocket the thin handheld terminal. And Ash, Peak starts, but she is gone. storming down the corridors of the ship on a path to who knows where. You know from experience that it is impossible to outrun your fears, but you get a sense that Ash will try anyway. Peak rubs their red eyes, staring after Ash. Maybe I'll take a moment before we start. They smile weakly, tears of exhaustion gathering in their eyes. See you back here soon, okay? And you slip from the room into the corridor. Peak's quiet sobs somehow carrying through the ship behind you as you leave. And a new drive as well. Protect the Eye. Peak needs a plan to protect the Eye from the Shadow Protocol before the next Flux event. So we have two steps, either evacuate or protect. Climbing Briar, escaped XPR ship. Devise a strategy. Peak is tirelessly analyzing the Flux data and testing countermeasures on the Shadow Protocol. They need your help. Peak is desperately looking for a way to combat both the coming Flux event and the Shadow Protocol infecting the station. Terminal Flux. The next Flux event is coming and it can't be stopped. The sooner your preparations are complete, the better the outcome. We have 12 days. This has only... A strategy takes only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can do that immediately. That's option 1, fighting it. Option 2 is just go to the Pilgrim Seed and just prep the Pilgrim to leave. Alright, well, I'll decide this in the next one. See you then.